I call to order this meeting of the North Liberty Library Board of Trustees for January to order. Our first item, are there any additions or changes to the agenda this evening? Nope. Public comment?
Want to go now or later?
I'll just say hi. My name's Brooklyn.
You have to go to the podium so they can hear you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name's Brooklyn. I'm a practicum student at the North Liberty Library. So if you drop in there, you might see me throughout the semester, helping out with a few different projects and just kind of learning about how we do library services here in North Liberty.
You want to tell them a little bit about your projects?
Yeah. Yes.
Really
so I'm just getting started, so I don't have too much information yet, but I'm going to be helping the grant writing committee work on a few different proposals, and I'm going to be helping with the small business, small libraries program, putting together the rest of the calendar for 2025.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very nice.
We're looking forward to seeing what you come up with.
Thank you very much. Item number 3 on our agenda is approval of the minutes. There's not a quorum to approve the December minutes, so we will defer those until March. But there is a quorum to approve the November minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for November?
I move to approve the November minutes.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. The ayes are unanimous. The motion to approve the minutes of November. Item number 4 on our agenda is the library director's report.
I'm just making myself a note so I don't forget to include the December minutes in the March thing. Crazy. Okay, so budget report. Let me get down to where I need to be here.
Thank you.
So we are sitting really well with the budget. This time of year, we're at 60%, or 50% is the norm because we're halfway through the budget year. And our total library services is at 49, which is really nice. As I've mentioned in the past couple of meetings, I'm thrilled to see that our personnel is actually below budget because often that one seems to go above where it should be. And then, and I say this too every time, but the utilities, repair, maintenance, and the contractual services, we pay a lot of that is front loaded. So those tend to level out throughout the year, but we're sitting really well with every aspect really of the budget. Did anyone notice anything or have questions on budget? All right, we can keep rolling if you want.
Yes, please.
All right, I shared the budget proposal in the last packet. I didn't ask for a huge amount of money in the budget this year. I know that the city's kind of challenged with their budgetary situation. Next year, we know we'll be even probably worse than it is this year. But I asked for what I needed, and we were fortunate that we had the work session last week on Tuesday with the council, and they didn't ask me any questions, so that's usually a good sign. And Ryan commented during that meeting that the librarian really knows how to stretch the dollar. So I thought that was pretty good. The copier lease I'd talked to you guys about before, we did go ahead and sign a new upgrade with our current company that we leased from Access Leasing Systems. I had gotten a quote from one, and I had requested a quote from another, and the other person just did not come through with an actual quote. They gave me some options, but they were not a quote. So we went with Access Leasing. It's a little higher than it was with our current copier, but we're going to have more functionality, allowing people to print wirelessly, which is really exciting, and having faxing services. And the funds are written into the budget for FY26, so we'll be in good shape.
People think faxing will go away, but there's still a lot of
There's places that require it. I've been a holdout on faxing. I refused to get it back because I don't want to pay for the phone line. So now we've found a way. I think that we're going to be able to fax with this new system. Fingers crossed that it will work. And then just a program update. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update with some of the things, climate in the city that we wanted to make sure that people know what their rights are. So Nick printed immigrants' rights cards in 4 different languages that are at the front desk that folks can pick up and have on hand if they need them. And then he's working with some of our bridge partners, including someone from Muscatine, who's agreed to come in and do a program on for immigrants and for neighbors, people that want to know how to be good neighbors. So they'll do a Know Your Rights program for both of those groups, which I'm really pleased about. He did not mention that in his report, so I wanted to make sure to tell you guys about it. Professional activity, basically, I just returned from Washington, D.C., where I met with the Council on Civic Strength. That group is Harvard and other large universities, fancy universities. It also had someone there from the National Chamber of Commerce, someone from, there was 2 folks from a communications company that actually reached out to me and specifically asked to speak with me this week, so I have a meeting with them. I don't know what it's about, but they asked me specifically to talk with them about libraries, so I'm excited. And then my friend Shemichael and I were there representing libraries, and we talked about civics education and lifelong learning, how civics in the K through 12 in college and then beyond, and with some of the things that are happening across the country with removing civics from the education, how we might combat that and where we can find avenues to make sure that people are educated and learning about how to be good in their communities. I mean, it's community work, really. It was really interesting, and we'll continue that work. And Brooklyn knows this, but they asked for a youth person to serve on that board, so I recommended Brooklyn. We don't know what they'll do with that, but I sent that recommendation in earlier this week. Friends annual fundraising contributions. I'm super ecstatic. I sent out the fundraising letters at the second week in January, and we already have over $1,600, which just the sheer number of people donating is way up from what it has been. So hopefully we'll keep seeing big chunks of those coming in, but just for that fast, just in 2 weeks, having that much money coming in is really fantastic. And we added the Venmo option last year, and we have had 4 people take advantage of that this year, so I think that's also exciting. Wanted to mention the mission statement is up for review in March, and every year it sneaks up on us and we don't do anything with it, and we just kind of approve it. And it's not a bad mission statement the way it is, but we do want to make sure we're keeping it refreshed. So we do have a committee working on that of staff, and Abby Cobb, who is our new equity coordinator for the city, is sitting on that committee with us. So if any of you have any interest in being a part of that committee, we would invite that. If you do, just email me and let me know, and I'll be happy to add you to the list. And I've sent out meeting, like a when to meet poll to see when people can attend and things like that. They are during the day, so that's the one caveat, when all our folks are around. So our goal is to have it done by March. We'll see. I think we'll be fine. And then you have met Brooklyn. We also have another practicum student, David, who I think he just couldn't come tonight, so hopefully he'll be able to attend one of our meetings. He just started a week or so ago, and Brooklyn's been with us for, is it 3 weeks? 2? So yeah. And then we also have a social work practicum student named Josie Wolter, who's also been working with us. She's been helping Nick with the immigrant trainings and things, and doing some other work. One of her goals, I think, with Nick is to find the barriers to access for our marginalized people who aren't using the library. So trying to connect with people who maybe aren't coming in and figure out why they aren't using the library. That's always a mystery to us. So we'll see. And that is my short report. And then we have all the reports from the staff if anyone has any specific questions on those. Did anyone have any questions? Comments otherwise?
I think the civics education of all stages of life is super important, because I graduated 18 years ago, and I've stayed up on things, but I don't remember what I was taught. And if they're going to stop teaching it, how do libraries and other community organizations respond? So I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think our biggest thing will be just being an outlet for information.
Yeah.
One thing that I didn't include yet because I don't know where it's going is that a good friend of mine runs the Digital Public Library of America, and he reached out to me a couple weeks ago and asked if I would want to partner with him on a grant that's partnering libraries and media partnerships. As we know, like there's thousands of media outlets closing, and especially in small and rural communities, there's news deserts. And I said, sure, not knowing what I was getting into. And he put out the letter of inquiry to them. He said it was a small amount of money, like $250,000 to $500,000, which is not small to me. But apparently he thinks that that's low-hanging fruit. So he is writing, if we get accepted to write the grant, he'll do most of that legwork on that, or his group will. But and then we are named as the sort of test pilot library. So I didn't know that's what I was getting into, and I agreed. But I'm sure it will be amazing, whatever we come up with to do. And I think that that's just really important as we continue. How do we make sure people have the news sources they need? And then people who want to have good news about their communities is my kind of goal. How do we create a space for people to actually have nice, positive news in a world that's not very positive? So,
Yeah, I kind of wondered about that as well when Solon's newspaper, which was the North Liberty Leader at the time, and then the Daily Iowan is now taken up. That Solon local and the news desert that's here in North Liberty as well, having lost the leader. So.
Yeah, I know, like Washington, Fairfield, and Mount Pleasant all they have one paper now.
yeah. And there's, also just even the bigger news outlet, or, the KCRG, the TV news folks and stuff tend to migrate more to Iowa City and Coralville and Cedar Rapids.
Instead of
and we kind of our news doesn't kind of pick up that as much. And occasionally we'll have someone who's really good. And I've in the past where they're really tuned in and they'll check in with us to see if we have stuff going on that they want to cover. I mean,
You know what the key is? Cake pans.
It
That makes the cycle every 2 years or so.
It is pretty interesting. Library of
that
Things
is true.
or
That
something.
is true.
See, I love the
Scott
cake pans,
is
and I know
very
you don't.
into this.
Oh, I don't mind the cake pans. They're very loud.
They are very loud.
All right. So,
All right.
and that's all I have. Unless anyone has questions, we can move on.
No.
All right. Item number 5 on our agenda this evening is the policy review. We have 3 policies to look at. The first, the sex offender library use policy and application.
And that policy is would have been December. So,
And that would have been, okay.
so that's why it's back on the docket for tonight. Normally it will be in December. And it is, not a lot will change or anything on that policy because it's written by our city attorney. So it's really just for us to keep apprised of it. And I swear there's always an edit, like a grammar problem or something, no matter how many times we look at these policies. So that's the main reason it's in there. I will mention that Iowa City, the library director in Iowa City called me last week to ask me about how we handled some of, if we had a request. And apparently they had someone request who's from North Liberty. And he just wanted to have a discussion with me. And he really appreciated, he asked me, how do you determine it? And I mentioned like in section 5, part B, that we specifically mentioned like the tier level, the tier, and that makes it very easy, right? So I can take if it's a tier 1 or 2 offense, they cannot come in basically. So there's the different levels, and I think that he was like, oh, we might have to take that back. So I think Grant has done a really nice job.
Because you do have a mechanism for them
For the
to
tier
get
2
materials.
Yes, so they
third
can
party.
still select a proxy, and we've had that in the past, and we have someone now who uses that and emails us with requests. So it's tier 2 and 3, I'm sorry, that they are not allowed to come in respectively because they're more aggravated assault things. So
Side note, I was really impressed with this. I thought it was just really comprehensive and clear.
well, and I'll tell you, the one that we had before was not. Like it was
no.
very, it like practically drew lines in the sand around the building, and it had these like described, or the exterior of the building and perimeters, and it was very strange. So I think Grant's done a really nice job. Just yeah, he really went through it with a fine tooth comb from what we had and helped me out.
Yeah, it looks great.
And we have literally only had that I'm aware of 2 people ever fill out, and only one under since I've been director. So that's all with that one.
All right. Shall we move on to the service policy?
Yes.
I have lost, I apologize. I have lost my agenda.
The agenda's on page 3. I know, it's just a mess.
It's okay.
Sorry, I
Page
put the
3.
notes on the wrong, or the minutes in front of the agenda.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay, thank you. I just, for note purposes.
You're doing great. Service policy.
I'm caught up. Thank you.
Service policy, the only piece that I would mention in this, and it's not anything that I didn't have time to do anything with it or know what I want to do with it, would be on our section on privacy and confidentiality.
I was just going to ask.
Were you going to mention that?
I was just wondering if there were any. No, keep going, please.
Well, I think if anything, there's some things I might want to add to that piece, just explaining that we keep people's information private, so that, and it may not end up going in the policy. It may be a separate thing that we just have on our website to assure people that their information is private, because there are still people who are fearful of government agencies, and libraries are considered a government agency, so they may be uncomfortable coming in if they think that we are not protecting their privacy. So that was a piece that Nick and I kind of talked about this week, and I did find a couple good examples. I just didn't have a chance to. By the time we decided that was Thursday last week, I think, that we kind of talked about it, and it was by that time I was already putting this together, and so I figured we could revisit it if I can tackle it later, and I'll just bring it back to you guys.
Maybe I missed it, but is there any sort of a records retention policy so that after X number of years?
Not in the library, because under the privacy laws, everybody's patron records are private. So once they've checked out and returned materials, it's gone from their record unless they've specifically opted in to keep it on there. So now at the city level, they have records retention, but I think they've almost all gone digital now.
Well, I was just wondering because, in the cases where, where it can be received through a warrant or whatever it may be, it's a longer, if you're keeping it forever.
Yeah, we don't keep them, and we don't even we don't even have a paper copy of their applications anymore. We do it all verbally.
Oh, I was thinking more circulation records.
Oh yeah, we don't keep those at all.
Okay.
Just, it is gone when it gets checked back in.
Yep.
Okay.
And when we are searching like lost material and things, they're not connected with patron records.
Okay.
Cool.
And other than that, I think there was, I don't know, there might have been like an edit that I found, and I just went ahead and changed it because it was like a grammar thing, which in the past we've just been okay with me just kind of doing that if I saw a grammar error.
Didn't see anything.
Oh, it was under the notices and displays. The A is like moved in. I fixed it.
Indentation.
Yeah.
All right. Our next policy to look at, the child safety and vulnerable adults policy.
Worked on that.
Looks like you had an edit or two.
I did, and actually Brooklyn was the catch on that one. She was the only one that caught that. I didn't have any other even staff catch it. Just that it didn't make a lot of sense the way it was worded. And then I had a really hard time trying to figure out what I meant, but we did get it figured out. I think this is what it meant. It just means that, an older kiddo could request that we call their parent, but with younger or kids who couldn't, or an adult who might be nonverbal, we would just make that determination and reach out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. That does make. It's more clear the way that it's reworded. I think it looks good.
Good. Without objection, then I would propose that we approve these as a slate of policies. So if anyone would like to make a motion to approve the 3 policies as presented.
I move that the 3 policies be approved as presented.
Second?
And I'll second that.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Hearing none in the negative, the 3 policies are reviewed and approved for this year.
Excellent.
All right. Item number 6, new business. Do we have any new business to discuss?
No.
Very good. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
A second?
A second?